F. Waste. The average waste production for a single individual is approximately 1,850 pounds a year, of which, see the table on the screen, or download the free book from the link. Note, synthetic textiles are avoided, organic materials such as cotton or wool utilized instead, preferably not dyed, burned in small quantities when needing disposed. Efficiency and independence solutions. When each individual has to personally deal with the waste they create, a greater awareness evolves now that the waste doesn't conveniently disappear. The individual is more prone to be conscious of what and how much is used and conserves more wisely. Many of these common wastes will not exist in the individualistic society, as listed in the avoided column. A small amount will be recycled, and the rest is either burned as fuel for a Stirling engine in a cogeneration process or composted, creating a practically waste-free homestead and society. Many of the organic materials, apart from the paper products, are most likely 60 to 70% water with an energy yield of about 2,500 BTU per pound. The paper will yield around 6,500 BTU per pound. When combusting damp items as these, they can be placed in a metal heat box and then placed into the burner. The heat box allows the water to vaporize, yet not extinguish the fire. When completely dry, the materials will combust on their own within the box, releasing their heat energy. Burning clean and natural organic materials produces few dioxins, contrary to popular belief. Dioxins can be formed only when matter is burned in the presence of chlorine. In clean, natural organic material, the way this would happen would be to form chloride ions, which would not occur without the presence of water. When heated in a heat box, the water vaporizes and the chlorides revert back to salts, rendering them inert for chemical interaction and combustion. The temperature inside the box will not exceed that of the water's boiling point until the water is gone. The cause of dioxin released from modern incineration plants is the combination of filth and unnaturally man-made chemicals that bond in abnormal ways, creating anomalous compounds in the unusual high heat of the incineration process. However, if one still fears the release of dioxins whatsoever, composting is suggested, and by the slow generation of these wastes, about 4 pounds per day, half of which is water, it may be more convenient to compost in the long run. G. Food. The average food consumption for a single individual is approximately 728 pounds per year of fruit and vegetables, 200 pounds per year in meat, 400 pounds per year in dairy, and 52 pounds per year in breads. Efficiency and independence solutions. For the ease of self-sustainability upon 1 acre, it is not recommended to raise large animals on site as they require much of the acre. For example, 1 acre is needed for the care of 1 cow, yet a quarter of that supports 2 goats. Because of the numerous methods to divide up 1 acre, different climates, and individual food preferences, the following figures are listed only for basic purposes. Obviously, these values cannot produce these acreage yields all at the same time. They are listed by acreage output merely for the ease in dividing them proportionately across an acre. Lastly, chemical fertilizers need not be used. The Native Americans were farming with intercropping techniques and producing some 200 bushels per acre, long before the advent of such chemicals. 1. Plants. These values assist in the dividing up of 1 acre depending upon climate, greenhouse use, etc. 1 acre of land can produce 20 tons of strawberries, 18 tons of peaches, 18 tons of potatoes, 14 tons of navel oranges, 12 tons of tomatoes, 10 tons of carrots, 10 tons of celery, 8 tons of apples, 8 tons of beets, 7 tons of sweet corn, 6 tons of cabbage, 5 tons of peppers, 5 tons of cucumbers, 3 tons of straw, 2.5 tons of grapes, 2 tons of rice, 2,300 pounds of soybeans, 1 ton of almonds, 1 ton of peanuts, 1 ton of sugar, 1 ton of tea, 1 ton of tobacco, 1,400 pounds of coffee, 1,300 pounds of cotton lint, 1,500 pounds of sunflower seed, 1,000 pounds wheat, 700 pounds of cashews, 500 pounds of pecans, 11,000 heads of lettuce, 1 acre of hemp, 4 tons, yields the same quantity of fiber able to be used as pulp as 1 acre of 20-year-old trees for use as paper, etc. The fiber can also be used as rope and the seed for oil. A possible milk substitute for those unable or unwilling to raise a dairy animal is nut milk, which is cleaned seeds and or nuts and water blended until smooth and then filtered. The result has more calcium than milk, no cholesterol, and does not need pasteurized. It can be sweetened and flavored with various things such as honey, maple syrup, fruits, etc. The remaining solids can be used as spreads, seasoning, flour additives, etc. It can be used as milk for drinking and recipes. Note, a possible egg substitute would be flaxseed. 2. Animals. 1 acre of land can support one 1,000-pound horse or cow, 5 to 10 sheep or goats, or 2 to 5 pigs. A dairy cow consumes 30 gallons of water and 75 pounds of ensilage per day. Each year it generates 15 tons of manure and produces 1,500 gallons of milk, taking an hour a day to milk the cow, milking 3 times per day. Chickens could number 80 chickens per acre. They eat about 100 pounds of feed per year, drink a pint of water per day, and require a pen enclosed from predators at night. Meat chickens are harvested at 3 months old, and hens can lay 300 eggs per year, which, when fertilized, will hatch in 21 days. Goats can number about 8 per acre and can be used for meat, milk, or fleece. They weigh 100 to 200 pounds and produce about a half gallon of milk per day. Meat goats are slaughtered at 1 year of age for about 60 pounds of meat and a usable skin. Goats also produce 6 pounds of fleece per year. They require 12 pounds of fresh forage and 1 to 2 gallons of water per day. They should be isolated from crop-producing areas of the acre, for they may eat the crop. Thus, an acre cropping 87% of its acre leaves just enough space for an isolated goat. Fish, aquaculture, could number 4,000 per acre of 8-foot deep pond. It takes approximately 2 years to grow a 1.5-pound edible fish. For control purposes, mesh cages could be employed along with feeding regimes, feeding twice per day about a half gram of food per fish, resulting in a food-to-fish ratio of 1 to 1. H. Self-health. For thousands of years, man went without manufactured supplements and pharmaceuticals, yet they have become essential in the last 100 years. Compare how fit the natural wild animals are, such as the lion with its rippling muscles, to the obesity and weakness of the disease-ridden present-day humans with their supplemented foods and magic drugs, which only grant them even stranger diseases. All drugs needed by man have already been created and are in the form of wild plants, herbs. Health is simple to maintain. Many ailments can be cured with just fresh food, grown by the user is best, especially when eaten moments after harvest, and clean water. Due to today's pollution, one may choose distilled as the purest. Taken at about 1 fluid ounce per pound of body weight per day. When drinking this proper amount of water, one needs about 1 gram of salt per 150 pounds of body weight per day. Good hygiene, body and mouth, is hopefully an obvious item. However, an area often neglected is the nasal cavity. For thousands of years, yogis have practiced neti, the rinsing of the nasal cavity, with slightly salted water. This not only helps breathing, but prevents any microbial colonies from gaining a foothold and then migrating to other parts of the body. 40 minutes per day of exercise is required, the minimum being a walk. However, vigorous exercise, too often, will have negative effects. A good balance, depending upon the individual, is a medium exercise every other day, with lighter ones in between, coupled with 2 to 8 vigorous workouts per month. The most important part is to stretch upon completion. Attempt to stretch every muscle group. The reason for exercise and stretching, besides the many benefits, is that the lymph system is not a circulating system. Therefore, by moving every part of the body, one causes the lymph to move in that area, assisting the removal of toxins and the purifying of the lymph to continue such removal. The importance of proper breathing is, more often than not, unknown to many. Just as in a damp, dark basement with little circulation, mold will grow upon the walls. Similar occurrences will happen within the lungs, which do not fully inhale and fully exhale, allowing microbial life to gain a foothold. This stale air, deoxygenated, is slightly toxic by its action with the surrounding moisture and, furthermore, it hinders oxygen's ability to penetrate into these areas, causing the parts of the body relying on that part of the lung to weaken. To sit comfortably in a chair with the back straight, hands rested in the lap, feet rested on the floor, and consciously breathe for 5 minutes, morning and night, will add tremendous health benefits. One simply fills the lungs without force, slowly and evenly, and pauses for as long as one comfortably can, and then exhales fully, slowly and evenly, pausing again for as long as is comfortable, then the cycle is repeated. As is breathing, the importance of consciously relaxing is also grossly neglected by humanity. Lying down on one's back with the arms out to the side, slightly tense the legs, lift them, then spread them evenly apart about 2 to 3 feet, and then place them back down. Lift the buttocks, slightly tense it, place it back down. Lift the spine, place it back down. Lift the arms, slightly tense them, place them back down. Lift the shoulders up from the floor, pull them gently towards the neck, place them back down. Raise the head slightly, pulling the chin towards the neck, and then place down. What this achieves is a symmetrical body and spine. One can practice one's breathing in this position and also add the following practice. Start at the feet and work upwards. When the inhale is being held, focus upon the foot and mentally state, my foot is relaxed. Then exhale. Repeat for each section, from the foot to the ankle, shin, knee, thigh, other leg, hips, back, abs, chest, innards, shoulders, triceps, biceps, forearms, wrist, hands, other arm, neck, head, parts of the face, etc. Each part can be subdivided as much as one desires and has time for, down to the cells and even the DNA, etc. When the whole body is thus covered, mentally state, my entire body is relaxed. Then exhale. This should be done once per day. Tension causes the buildup of localized lactic acid, a waste product of muscles, which over long periods can be a foundation for numerous ailments. Furthermore, the body is a building. A tension in one area throws the entire structure out of balance, causing strain upon other areas to maintain the balance. These, in turn, throw other parts off of balance, and so on, until ailments arise far removed from the location of the initial tension. Apart from physical care, one must also practice mental care. In the present hectic world, this is much more important. Just as one should cause the body to be active at least 40 minutes per day, one should exercise and relax the mind for 40 minutes per day. One should find a quiet, solitary spot to carry out this work without interruption. After one has completed either the breathing or relaxation exercise above, one might add the following practice. First, to gain an appreciation of the size of infinity, visualize a glass sphere filled with sand. Then visualize each grain of sand being a tiny glass sphere of sand, just as the first. Similarly, the grains of sand within these are also glass spheres of sand. Continue this as long as desired. Then visualize the glass sphere of sand as being the earth, and it is composed of countless earths, no bigger than a grain of sand. Focusing upon one grain and visualizing that it too is made up of countless earths, and so on. Continue this as long as is desired. Then visualize each grain of sand, instead of them being earths, are each unique worlds, and each one is composed of unique worlds. And each of those components likewise is composed of endless unique worlds, and so on. This is one simple recursive exercise which exercises the imagination's capabilities and grants one the appreciation of infinity. One can easily create one's own such exercises, limited only by the imagination. The individualist is encouraged to often, if not constantly, deeply ponder infinity and God and practice being aware of that awesome presence. A final basic exercise to assist this is, after any of the above exercises, close the eyes and ponder. If God is infinite, and infinity is everything, including even void itself, then all is God. After a few moments pondering this, and all it relates to, open the eyes. Behold, one is looking at God. Open the ears. One is hearing God. Feel. One is feeling God. You and every part of you is made of God, because there is only God, the ever-present now. From the local surroundings to the cosmos, all things are made up of the fabric of God's body. God is not separate from the creation. God is the creation. Furthermore, this creation is much bigger than what humans can perceive with their senses. This entire physical world is an infinitely small speck in its ocean of light. Practice this presence of God vigilantly and constantly, and one will experience the majesty of the Creator of all. The effects of these practices are numerous, increasing health, strength, and clarity in the mind, body, and spirit, granting peace and understanding to the practitioner. With this society increasingly demanding more time from the citizens for nonsense, time for these important exercises is often a challenge to secure. Those who begin to practice these simple techniques will understand the individualist's emphasis upon them, and a society which gives the people more time. The more time spent with these practices, the more probable it is that one will attain notable results, and the more profound those results will be. Quote, all of man's troubles stem from his inability to sit quietly in a room alone. End quote. Blaise Pascal.